Hello all, so the Easter break recently happened here in the UK. In fact, at the time of watching this video, it is happening as we speak, meaning I'm not making a video right now. I'm doing my duty and taking a bit of time off with everyone else here in the UK. So instead of a normal fun with first name video here on Monday, I'm doing a little Q&A video. I haven't done a Q&A in years, I think, literal years. So I thought I'd do one. They're always quite good fun. I love seeing what questions you guys have for me, whether they're about names and language or whether they're about anything else in particular, really. So let's get to it, shall we? So let's begin with these questions, shall we? And these first 3 questions actually come via my Patreon. I'm sure you've heard all about Patreon. It's a website where you can donate a monthly fee and get loads of extra goodies in return. You can donate $1 a month to Name Explain over on Patreon and you get ad-free videos, exclusive content, a chance to say what names get explained here on the channel, your name at the end of these videos, and of course you get stuff like this. When I do a Q&A, patrons always get priority. Their questions will always be answered and they'll be answered first. So let's begin, shall we? And that first question comes from one Randy Van Halen over on the Patreon, and they say, do you speak any other languages? What other language would you like to learn the most? Great question. That makes sense because this is a whole channel about language, and here's the thing, if you didn't notice already, I'm not that good with languages. I can barely speak English, let alone any other language. I have attempted to learn other languages in the past. I've I've started so many different Duolingo courses. I think I first got with Italian. I think I started a Welsh one once out of curiosity, German, something like that. I think that if I wanted to learn one language in particular, it would be something like Spanish maybe, which is pretty darn useful. It would be cool to know Japanese. To enjoy a load of like Japanese exclusive content that I'd like to watch, like exclusive video games and whatnot. They will probably be on my list, but I don't know how useful Japanese is on a worldwide platform, but it doesn't need to be that useful, I suppose. I'd love to also learn Tokipona. We talked about Tokipona in a video a few months back. What a great language. It's all about speaking as little as possible. And it feels like we're living in a world where everyone wants to say as much as possible. Like, I'm always trying to write to hit a 10-minute deadline and just adding extra rubbish words for no reason. Let's just speak less, maybe. Although this video is all about me just blabbering on with no script, so maybe Tokipona isn't for me. Mimi Hart, once again on the Patreon, asks, do you have a favourite tongue twister? If so, what is it? Gosh, you know what? Like, my knowledge of tongue twisters isn't that, I don't know, like I could literally name one. I guess Peter Piper Pickle. I can't say that. Obviously I struggle speaking normally, so tongue twisters are a bit of a minefield for me. So if you want to know about why I speak so terribly, I used to go to speech therapy class. I had a speech impediment when I was younger. Kind of got most of it worked out. Now I still struggle with some R sounds and TH sounds, like like I just can't say it right. So tongue twisters were a big no-no for me as well. I think I can say she sells sheesh. No, I can't say that. My favourite one would probably be that one just because it's the one I know most. It's not quite a tongue twister, but at the beginning of Anchorman, while Ron Burgundy is practicing speaking, doing some vocal warm-ups, which are kind of the same as tongue twisters, he just says the Human Torch is denied a bank loan multiple times. The Human Torch denied a bank loan. The Human Torch denied a bank loan.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. You hear me?
I don't know if that counts as a tongue twister, but tongue twisters and like vocal warm-up exercises kind of go hand in hand. So I'm going to go with that one, I think. And BJ Windsor, once again over on the Patreon, asks, who let the dogs out? So it wasn't me, or maybe it was. I guess I have let a dog out once before. Yeah, at least once in my life I've let a dog out, but I don't know who let the dogs out. But I want to talk about that song because for so long there's been like this internet rumor that it's about unattractive women. And that's actually not the case at all. That's just like a misogynistic lie made up by the internet and propelled by the internet because I'm sure you could figure out why. It's actually about the complete opposite. It's about rowdy, rude men. The writers of that song have said that it's about sort of boisterous, beastly men being all aggressive on the dance floor. They're the dogs, not the women. So that's a fun fact. Who says you don't learn anything watching my videos? Like, I mean, you should do. My videos are all about learning things, so hopefully something should be going in. If not, hopefully that's gone in for you. And then away from the Patreon, we have questions, including one from Ali El Komzi asking, did you study linguistics or consider studying it in college? If not, what did you want to do as a job before you became a YouTuber? That's a really fun question. So I do have formal education in language to a degree, not an actual degree. So here in the UK, we have GCSEs, then A-levels, then you do university. At GCSE, I studied English literature. Obviously, before GCSE, what did I do for GCSE? Have I got a GCSE in English lit, or was that an A-level? I've got degrees in GCSE, but I've got GCSEs in English lit and language. Sorry, it's been a while since I went to school. In GCSE, you do have to study English by, I think you have to. When I was there anyway. But, at A-level, I have an A-level in English literature. You know, studying books, the meaning behind books. I love English lit. It was my first love. I'd love to do more sort of lit-based videos. I've kind of done some book-based videos. I did one about Frankenstein a few years back, which I really, really enjoyed. Then after that, I didn't go straight to uni. I had to basically get some extra things called UCAS points so I could justify going to uni, and that was by doing some half A levels called AS levels. This makes a ton of sense if you're in England. For my AS levels, I went to a different college. Yeah, college and uni. This makes sense if you're in the UK, I promise. And at that college, I did some extra AS levels, which, like I said, is half an A level. I did film studies, classical civilizations, which explains like nerdy stuff with film studies, classics with my love of history. And it was there I actually did English language for the first time, which is more about linguistics and etymology and whatnot. And it was actually in that 1 year of studying English language, I really fell in love with the subject, and it just really resonated with me. I loved how it was kind of like the science of language. Like this, once upon a time, I called it like word math. Like you add that to that, and that gets you that word. It's kind of giving language a binary option, I suppose. Like things are much more concrete when studying linguistics. There is still some grey areas with it, but nowhere near as much as like it is in English literature or in a history or stuff like that. It just really resonated with me. And we'll talk about maths again in a moment with another question down the line here. But it was there I really fell in love with language. So yes, I did study it formally. After that, I actually didn't go to uni. I took a few years off working full-time at a supermarket, as I mentioned in a previous video as well, quite recently. And then when I finally did decide to actually go to uni, I did in fact study linguistics. Yeah, English linguistics, English language. I was only there for 3 months, however. Uni wasn't for me for a huge variety of reasons. I didn't enjoy it. That was just my experience. If you enjoyed it, that's fantastic. So I actually dropped out to become a YouTuber, and I think it's worked out so far. But that is if you're watching this wanting to drop out of uni to become a YouTuber, just really think about it. It was a really silly thing I did. Luckily, it's paid off for me. But, well, for now anyway. But luckily, it's paid off for me some way. But this is a fickle old job, and I really regret not having a degree to fall back on if this all goes horribly wrong. Hope that answers your question. And Ducker says, what is your favourite language? I don't know. Actually, no, I do know it's English. Like, call me boring, but I freaking love English. I very much sort of like to consider myself a YouTuber who focuses on the English language, and we'll talk about extra languages occasionally, but English language is like my default language. Obviously, I'm speaking it right now. American English, British English, Aussie English, South African English, Irish English, whatever version it is. I just think it's a marvelous language. It's so cool and weird and doesn't have a rule book, but also does have a rule book. I just love it to pieces. That's really boring of me. If you want me to say a foreign language, I would say something like, is it Albanian? Albanian's really fascinating. In fact, that's its only thing on the Indo-European tree. That's really fascinating. I'd like to talk about that. Maltese I find really interesting. It's got a special place in my heart because I've got Maltese ancestry. I love the fact that it's written with a Latin alphabet, but it is an Arabic language. That's really cool. Anything kind of like that, I really vibe with. Do I have any other languages I really enjoy? Cornish is really fun. Maybe go look at some Cornish as well. Flying O asks, any creators you want to collab with? There are quite a few creators I'd like to collab with. I'm using this as a platform. I'm going to use my influence right now to try and get my way. I'm going to do a call to action. That's what they call it behind the scenes for you'd like to know. I really want to be on Desert Island Graps with Cultaholic. So Cultaholic are a wrestling YouTube channel. One of their hosts, Tom Campbell, he has like a podcast / sometimes on YouTube series where he talks to a variety of people, sometimes wrestlers, sometimes other influencers who are into wrestling, about what free wrestling matches they would take on a DVD to a desert island. I'm sure you've heard of Desert Island Discs. It's like that, but with wrestling matches. Tom, if you're watching this, put me on there, please. I'd love to talk about wrestling on YouTube for some reason. Yeah, that's probably my dream collab. You guys are probably asking about an educational collab or another educational channel, but I don't know. Or maybe you'll find out in the future. Maybe there's stuff working on happening in the background. Who's to say? Xnoob Speakable asks, what's your opinion on math? Like, dislike, describe in more detail. Gosh, so I will try and go into detail with this. So I mentioned kind of how I called language word math a bit earlier, but actual math, whatever you want to say, both are valid. I despise, I hated it in school. I still hate it now to a huge degree, but like genuinely sometimes when I'm just living my life, I actually sit and think, I'm so happy I never have to do an actual maths lesson again. It brings me immeasurable joy that I don't have to study maths anymore in my life. So maths, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm interested in it though, for a variety of reasons. I get why people are into it. Like there's this kind of code cracking element to it where you figure out this formula and everything else makes more sense. I get why some people are into it and love it so much. I think it is a wonderful thing, despite what I was just saying. I can appreciate why people really love it so much. My brain just never worked in a maths sort of way. Even though I was in like the higher up maths class in school, I despised it. I got a B in GCSE in the end somehow. I don't think I could do that again, but yeah, maths never quite gelled with my brain. Yeah, so I was trying to think of anything else I could say. No, maths was a big no-no for me. Language, bit more of a yes, still a bit of a no. What was my favourite subject in school? I really liked drama. I forgot to ask a bit about a question of what I wanted to be before a YouTuber. I'm going to answer that now quickly. Let's do that. So yeah, I completely forgot that Ali El Kumsi also asked, what did you want to do as a job before you became a YouTuber? So let's answer that now. Huge apologies there. This is an absolute rambling mess of a video, but that's kind of how I like to make videos. Before YouTube, what did I want to be before YouTube? I remember distinctly once I kind of got my head around YouTube, and like, obviously I remember when YouTube first came out. When it first came out, it was just like a website to watch silly little clips on. But once I think like early 2010s, I kind of got the idea of what an actual YouTuber was, like with CGP Grey. I remember watching the Yogscast. That was kind of like, this is an actual job someone could do. I remember one of the things that made me most want to be a YouTuber was Jay Witz, great Pokemon YouTuber. He did a tweet where like he said, I get asked all the time how much money I make as being a YouTuber, and my response is simply enough to pay the bills. It was something like that. And that kind of hit a wire in my brain, like hit a switch in my brain that you don't have to be like a billionaire, despite the fact that it feels like what people like to talk about YouTube, oh, they make millions of pounds sitting in their home all day. And I don't do that. I don't make that much. I wouldn't be begging you guys on Patreon as much if I was making that much. But it kind of clicked where you don't need to be super affluent. You could be a YouTuber and just be earning like a minimum wage, a sort of standard rate to pay the bills. And that was kind of where I went, well, I don't think I could be a millionaire off of this, but I reckon I could do it as enough to pay the bill. So that's kind of where I came from. Prior to that, I really liked acting. I wanted to kind of be like an actor, writer, comedian type person. Kind of like just a general personality. I'm trying to think of like an example, like Stephen Fry type. That's really lofty when I say it like that. I didn't want to be just like a niche, someone a bit lower down. Who's like someone who's like known for their writing, known for like starring in things. Kind of just a bit of a personality in like British comedy. I'm really into like a David Mitchell, I suppose. So once again, he's quite popular as well. Just someone like that, really. I did drama in school and wanted to be an actor, but then I enjoyed the writing aspect an awful lot more. Yeah, I want to be like an author or a writer or like an actor. I guess I'm all those sort of things combined into one now in a weird way. When I was a lot younger, I remember wanting to be a zookeeper. No idea what being a zookeeper even entails, just like the idea of being around animals. And even before that, I think my earliest memory of what I wanted to do for a living was own a toy shop. I'm sure you can see why that wanted to be the case, because I'm a massive man-child who's deeply into toys. Yeah, I like the idea of owning a toy shop. Still do. Shame the kids buy toys anymore, the kids play with toys anymore. I don't know, maybe I will. Maybe like when I eventually sell Name Explained to Disney or Endeavour, That's a wrestling reference, if anyone gets that one. Thank you very much. When I sell name explain to whatever company and they give me 2p for it, maybe I'll use that to buy a toy shop. Who knows? That's the other half of that question answered. Sorry I forgot it earlier. Hope that makes up for it. Angie Pangy asks, which of your tattoos is your favourite? I don't know. So yeah, I have lots of sort of nerdy tattoos. Once again, going back to my nerdy thing. I think, so my first tattoo was Bowie, which is like, I can't actually show it there that well. There it is. So that was my first tattoo, the David Bowie lightning bolt. I think my favourite is Squirtle, however. There's just something quite silly and innocent about it. That's probably my favourite because I'm really into Pokemon, and it's like, I don't think anyone else has that design as a tattoo. It's very unique to myself. Yeah, I don't know. I love tattoos. So you can see Mario on that side, Sonic there, Zero there, Tolkien monogram there. That's probably the one that gets the most conversation, I would say. A lot of people seem to be quite aware, even, oh, what's that mean? Oh, I love Tolkien. That's probably the one I don't know if I'm least happy with, the one I'm most dubious about, the enormous crocodile. That's Roald Dahl and Quentin Blake's enormous crocodile. The reason I'm most dubious about it is because, well, it was knowledge then. I was just a lot more ignorant then that Roald Dahl was a bit of an unpleasant person. So it's kind of, I feel a bit dubious about having some of his work on my body forever. But I more see it as Quentin Blake's illustration. That book of Roald Dahl's is way more a picture book than it is than compared to his other books. And Quentin Blake really brought the enormous crocodile to life for me. When I read that book as a kid, I don't remember the words, I remember the pictures. So for me, it's more a piece of art celebrating a terrific illustrator as opposed to a fictional character created by an author who was a bit dubious. But this is going to go into that whole conversation. Nobody's perfect, I guess. You could argue that with most of my tattoos, with Tolkien tattoo, with you could argue all sorts of things about if they're right or not. So yeah, that's my favourite tattoo and my least favourite tattoo. I've got other ones. I've actually got one up here of the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. I've got one on the back of my leg of Johnny Cash. They just obviously don't appear on camera as much. Cool. Let's do the next question. Anthony R. Haslage asks, what's your favourite Transformers generation and character? So it's Beast Wars, despite the fact I've got, oh no, there, you can see them. So you can see some Gen 1 guys back there. Beast Wars, I love Beast Wars as a kid. I still really enjoy it. I did begin reading the new comic book series run by IDW, but they cancelled it after like 12 issues. That sucks. Am I looking forward to the new film with Beast Wars characters in it? I don't know, it's quite far removed from the Beast Wars I enjoy. Sure, it'll be good. But yeah, definitely Beast Wars. As for my favourite character, I love Beast Wars Megatron, hence why he's there. I really enjoyed Rhinox as a kid. I think most of the characters in Beast Wars are really terrific. Dinobot's great. Rat Trap's really good fun. Cheetor's really good fun. Tarantulas is just great. Waspinator, wonderful. Optimus Primal. Beast Wars was so good. Like, really gripping narratives and interesting characters. The animation was good for its time. I'm going to defend that animation.
Across the galaxy, it has come to this, Optimus Primal.
It looks good for its time. I mean, it looks pretty bad now, but I don't know. Beast Wars, favourite generation, Beast Wars, favourite character, Rhinox. Let's stick with that. Cool. And Angie Pangy, whose name you might remember from the tattoo question, also asked, how did you meet Amber? So Amber is the editor of my on-camera videos. She's editing this very video right now. How did we meet? I just found her on a website called People Per Hour. She's a terrific editor. She fit my bill. She offered what I wanted. And we kind of just met through there. And she does absolutely terrific work. And she's done way more than just do the Fun with First Name video. She like edited and more or less directed the Bristol Colston documentary. She did a terrific job on that. I just kind of stood places and talked, and she made that into something incredible, something wonderful that it really is. She's done some extra bits and bobs on the channel as well. In the fairly recent sign language video, she was the one who actually put the subtitles onto that video as well. She did a terrific job with that. She's kind of just my sort of go-to. If I've got anything I have no idea what to do, I don't have the time to do, she's there. We have a really great relationship. I think we do anyway, Amber. Let me know if we don't.
We do.
Well, I can just sort of throw things her way. I can bounce ideas of her. She's basically like number 2 here at Name Explain, or co-1. She's co-1, not number 2. I'm not on top of this thing. She's she's doing a lot of good work here, basically. Very good to have her as a very vital part of Team Name Explain. Brian Edward asks, do you play Skyrim? And if so, did you kill Parthenax? Gosh, I have played Skyrim, not in a very long time. I played it when it first came out, which was like 2011, 2012 maybe? Very, very, very long time ago. It kind of came out around the time I got my first gaming PC. And I wanted to test its limits. Oh, I'll try Skyrim when I can run Skyrim. And also I had no money at this time, I just spent it all on a gaming PC. So instead of paying for it, I illegally downloaded it off Pirate Bay. Yeah, that's how far back we're going with this. And I got it working, it was an absolutely buggy mess. I don't think Parthenax could actually communicate with me on it, so I had to just attack him to make him do something. So yeah, I did kill Parthenax, I'm afraid. I remember there was like a part where someone was supposed to open up their prison cell for you, but the prison cell wouldn't open, so I had to like put in a command, no clip command, so I could just go through and continue the mission. It was an absolutely buggy mess. Moral of that story, don't illegally download games, basically. I would love to replay Skyrim, I think. I don't think I actually ever completed it. It came out, they did like a remastered edition recently, didn't they? So I recently purchased myself a Steam Deck, so I'm just looking at it from beyond the camera right now. Hi baby, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm deeply in love with my Steam Deck. It's just like, through the Nintendo Switch, it's just elevated my love of portable gaming. I never want to sit in front of a TV and play a video game again. I want to sit like on the toilet or in bed playing video games from now on forever, because it's just wonderful. I might get it on the Steam Deck, because that'd be really good fun, I imagine. And finally, C. Pizzle asks, what's 9 times 9? I think, going back to maths, there's been a big strong math theme through this Q&A. I think it's 81? Not 100% sure on that. I was going to check it. No, I'm going to check it. I've got my little phone here. I can do that. 9 times, that's a plus. Sorry, 9 times 9 equals, it does equal 81. Yay, so yeah, how I remember my 9 times table, it's always, whatever number you're times in by 9, it's that, times it by 10 and then remove the initial number. That's how I've always remembered my 9 times table. So for example, 2 times 9 is 18. I know that because 2 times 10 would be 20. Then I take away the 2, that gives me 18. Is that a thing? Have I invented that? So that if you go to 9 times 3, well, 3 times 10 is 30. Take away the 3 is 27. Yeah. I just have to use my fingers to count half the time. That's how I remember the 9 times table. I don't know if I invented that or if I was taught that. There's a little thing you can use too. Yeah. So yeah, 9 times 9 is 81, I think. No, it is. The phone told me it is. And that just about wraps up today's Q&A. That was really good fun. I need to do these more often because I just really enjoyed doing them. Thank you to everyone who left a question, whether I answered it or not. I couldn't get through them all for a huge variety of reasons, but hopefully you guys know a little bit more about me now. Thank you so much for watching this video, for enjoying what I do, for allowing me to have a job where I can take breaks when I want to and just make silly little videos like this when I want to as well. Is that everything? Yeah, Patreon, super thanks. Good stuff like that. Just go comment things down below. Like, subscribe. Hit a bell, hit an actual bell, go to a church and punch a bell. I think that's what I'm supposed to tell you to do as a YouTuber. I can't remember. There will be a normal video coming a little bit later this week, I imagine. Thank you all guys, take care.